You know what? Just when I think I can start the show right on a Monday, I can't. Press them all. Man, that was the weirdest start we've ever had to a show. But either way, it's Monday, October 16th. We're talking about union stuff, whether it's Canada, the U.S., Ford reacting to EV demand drop, and new-collar workers. Not blue-collar workers. New-collar workers. And if you're watching, you see that Kyle has got a fancy new background. It's been a long time coming. Did a little paint, did a little shelves, did a little stacking of stuff behind him. It looks amazing, dude.
I'm telling you what, the gray paint with the little bit of light, with all that, and I've got some shoelaces back here. I got your book. Look, I put your little mug shot up there.
I saw that.
I got the Asotocon. Look, I got Jason Rice's book. Wow, I'm telling you what,
whole deal going on.
Gold mine in that. We've got our little automotive news deal.
Got some soccer.
We got this. I don't think a lot of people have seen this. If you're watching the video, there is. So Rob Angus is always sending us like ridiculous memes and stuff like that. And this is the original investor crew for Asodu.
Kind of like 1920 style gangster, right?
Just coming in. It has the troublemaker logo right down there. It's legit.
And for fairness, that came into the scene before we had these AI tools to say, put these faces in this scene. Like that was old school blood, sweat, and tears. He did all of that. Man, we were traveling a lot last week. Got to spend some great time on the ground in Miami at the NAMAD conference. It was cool to see just some of the content that's come out of that. We feature some in our email every day. Saw a little clip today in Automotive News about Perry Watson IV, and that dude is 52 years old.
Dude, and he was running around like he was 32. It was unbelievable.
He looks like he's 32.
Was in every room,
those good
every
genetics.
engagement. Oh, absolutely. And like we kept saying this, the leadership within the NAMAD organization is so poised, so humble, yet so determined at the same time. There's this striking balance of the way that they care for the community, but also are extremely intentional about their goals and desires for that community. And it's energizing to be around and be a part of. So if you don't have it just on your mental calendar for next year, you should check out NAMAD because it's growing like a weed. They had the largest attendance they've ever had. And the energy around the micro communities, the macro communities within there are amazing. And they had some legit speakers this year too.
They did really crushed it. So also want to talk about a few things coming up this week. Wednesday, we are releasing episode 2, much awaited episode 2 of More Than Cars. Thank you so much for your patience on this one. Episode 1 was probably like 2 months ago, maybe even a little more. We're so excited. Episode 2, we filmed it all in one spot, Beaver Toyota in Cumming, Georgia. And boy, we leaned in to the people and the stories. We also leaned into the fun, and you're going to see Kyle and I getting our hands dirty in the fix stops and service and detail with their personal trainer, straightening cars on the front line. Kyle's making some kind of like egg bowl back in the commercial kitchen. So it's a whole lot of fun. And the stories we talk about are just unbelievable. We're talking about people almost on their deathbed and the dealership supporting them. We're talking about a women's only mentoring group that is literally changing the dynamic of lives and families. It's unbelievable. And by the way, they sell a lot of cars and have an amazing facility, but that's the side story. The main story is the people. So that's Wednesday. How can people get there, Kyle?
They're going to go to morethancars.com, or they're going to go to LinkedIn.
Morethancars.tv.
Sorry. Or they're going to go to LinkedIn, and they're going to head to the Asodu page. It's the first event on there. That's going to be the best place to watch the stream because all your friends are going to be there. You can comment, interact. We'll be hanging out in the comments and make sure and just like come all around it as a community and sharing the love of More Than Cars.
Hope to see you there. And yeah, have all your people on there. Let's just say that. It's awesome when more people are in the live stream, and it actually helps get the word out more, helps the algorithm. And so, yes, we are asking you to get as many people as you can on that live stream because it matters to the entire movement. So thank you so much for that. Let's talk about some news. What do you think?
Let's get into it.
I feel a little bad playing the sad trombone because it feels like some kind of positive news. Dare we say positive news coming out of the negotiations and the union updates. While Canadians' version of the UAW, which is UNIFOR, they ratified the deal signed with GM by over 80%, getting factory workers back to work. That's great. The Canadians are back to work. And all is quiet on the UAW front over the weekend. Friday is when Ford basically came out and was like, hey, we're kind of
We're
at
done.
the line. Or what day was it? Was it Thursday?
Thursday, technically.
We talked about it Friday, right? Thursday they came out. We talked about it Friday. Ford was like, hey, we kind of like have reached the limit. Like we don't have any more money to talk about. There was really no new announcements on Friday and the weekend was quiet. So I feel like when it's quiet is when actual progress is being made.
Yeah, either everybody's looking around going, what's going to drop or things are getting done.
It's the old, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. That's what's wrong, right? So after a brief 12-hour strike, so this is back to the Canadian story, a 12-hour strike. I don't know why this feels so Canadian. After a brief 12-hour strike, a deal ensuring nearly a 20% wage increase for longtime workers over a 3-year period, along with bonuses and other benefits, has been ratified by the Canadian Union. Canadian Union President Lana Payne said at a press conference, this agreement reflects true collective bargaining. Our goal is to bring more fairness and equity to auto workplaces and lift everyone up. We did that. So
in the 11th hour, what happened was all the Canadians came. We're so sorry. We're so sorry. We're so sorry.
So we're really going to strike, eh? I wish we had Cirillo on the show
I know,
this
it'd be
morning,
so perfect.
because he would
make
give
more
us
fun of
so
it
much
and
level
be perfect.
of
Yeah.
context, because we're just a bunch of, I don't know. What do they call Americans in Canada?
Jerk Southern.
Are we
people.
Yank jerks? Jerks that live below the country. Meanwhile, there have been no new strikes or moves announced by the UAW since Friday, since Ford had made their announcement last Thursday. And here's another little detail to the ongoing unfolding strike. As of last week, over 39% of parts suppliers in the industry have said they laid off workers as a result of the dispute, and say that number could reach as high as 70% if things keep going the way they are. So that's the update, right? Just things moving this week. I think we're going to see some things this week.
I think we will.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling some things.
I think it's
Some good things, positive things. I can't really say speaking.
There's nothing out of positive things there.
Nope. I feel like we need a segue though.
Stop.
I just
Segue.
just gonna do that. A pair of Wall Street Journal articles over the weekend are highlighting the ongoing struggle to separate the EV hype from actual consumer demand, as a leaked internal memo may be revealing the reality of a significant drop in sales of the Ford F-150 Lightning. So while EV sales rose by 51% this year, that rate has significantly decelerated and inventories are accumulating. We know this. Automakers are adjusting expectations, with some shifting focus to hybrids. The initial EV enthusiasts have all bought their stuff, and now all the cautious buyers are left looking at hybrids. So basically, a UAW official wrote in a leaked memo. They say it has nothing to do with the strike, and I can kind of nothing at all. But basically, the memo. The official said it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that our sales for the Lightning have tanked. And this is as Ford is considering reducing shifts at the F-150 Lightning pickup plant due to the declining sales. As the electric truck sales have dropped 45.8% in quarter three.
Oof.
That's more than, I guess it's a drop. You could call it that's drop. Somewhere like a jump off the diving board.
That's like a cliff dive. Yeah.
Production was halted for 6 weeks, as we talked about, for a factory expansion. But now they're saying like maybe we need to throttle back on the factory in general.
Wow. Like this is staggering. And I love how it kind of said like the look at what's the actual consumer demand versus what's getting produced. And we're starting to see this gap. Now, we could recover this. There's a lot of changes. Actually, the 2024 changes in the tax code could reinvigorate the EV market. But still we're not getting the full picture, I feel, of what the OEMs are dealing with. I even saw a couple just anecdotes this over the weekend of like news outlets saying basically all of these manufacturers are kind of falling into the hand of Tesla and Elon Musk, where they just control the market, and they pointed everyone to this. And all of a sudden, not everybody was equipped to approach the market the way that they needed to. And Tesla's going to come out like the massive winner. So that's not me saying that. I'm just saying there is still so much to be determined, and the speed at which adoption happens is going to greatly like it will directly affect how these manufacturers are or are not profitable. And I think actually it's really smart that like Ford and GM have started to spin off their EV brands, because as separate profit centers, as separate general ledgers, you start to see like the opportunity for them to completely control this in a different way, much more like a startup, which you see startups go through these ebbs and flows of massive increase to massive decrease. You feel like you're winning, you feel like you're losing. We know that all too well. And this is just an example of that.
You know, you mentioned the tax code, and what you mean by that is now dealers will be able to apply the federal tax credit, 7,500 or whatever it ends up being, right onto the front end of the deal. And the consumer doesn't have to think about deal with tax credits or anything like that at all. Maybe that'll be it. I mean, obviously charging infrastructure, massive roadblock to EV adoption. And until you know, I feel like we were talking to somebody about trying to find places to charge their EVs. And they like, oh, they ended up going to we don't have to talk about who it is, but they ended up going to the Ritz-Carlton because they're like, I know they'd have an EV charger. And if they didn't, they'd figure out a way to get this car charged for me. Right. Right.
I'm following, so John Ellis is going on like an 800-mile trip or something like that.
Oh, neat.
In a Model 3. And he's putting it all on YouTube for everyone.
Smart.
So kind of interested. Like I'm interested to see what his findings are just as a traveler.
Gosh, I've wanted to do that. I've wanted to do that for like, I just see some other people doing that. I'm like, man, that sounds like so much fun.
It does sound like fun.
We should do it in a Tesla. We should do it in a Tesla semi.
We should, and just like vlog the heck out of it. Why not?
Oh, it's so good. Man, the Segway game is off this Monday.
Sorry about our Mondays, everybody. We left you high and dry. Retail behemoth Walmart is shifting its focus from degrees to skills, offering more short-term certificates in training and investing $1 billion in career training by 2026. $1 billion by 2026. Currently, this is a crazy stat. 75% of Walmart's salaried managers in the U.S. started in hourly positions. They're also moving to expand their education benefits, now offering 25 short-form certificates in collaboration with a training company called Guild. It's interesting because the majority of their management staff across the U.S. is actually not college educated. So they're moving in two directions. One, they're putting more money and time and energy into paying for and supporting people going through college degrees, but also creating their own training matrix so that entry-level positions actually see a career path. They actually, retail is one of the lowest quit rates right now, and people are at 2.6%, it said, and people are seeing opportunities for career pathing because of the degree not required. And so basically they're shifting all their job descriptions to make sure that degree not required is very specific in there, and they're going after the skill sets, the soft and hard skill sets that people might have acquired from other work or just general knowledge. Quote, Walmart said in a press release, ultimately, Walmart believes the U.S. workforce system needs to transition to a system that recognizes and understands skills in the same way it recognizes and understands college degrees. This gives talented, skilled workers who do not have degrees the same benefits as people who do. Harvard Business Review refers to this approach as the new collar workforce, which, Paul, have you met some of the managers and frontline employees in the little retail environment?
It's nice to see them catching up.
I know
with the auto industry. It's like one of the reasons we included the article. It's like, there might be something to this fact that there is talent in every corner of this country. If you're willing to invest in it, if you're willing to develop it, if you're willing to look at the actual skills that the person has. Now, this is kind of one of those things that is more easily bubbles to the surface when it's like people skills. Right. You see servers, you see people in food service, and you're like, we have lots of those stories. Like, hey, do you want to sell cars? Right. Is the next question, because
absolutely.
They're like, but the truth is like, there are a lot of other skills, especially when it comes to fixed ops, technical training, people that just have this knack to do a certain thing, and being willing to provide a training path, provide a career path. And if you do that work in the front end, the bottom line is like, you don't have to be at the mercy of someone having a degree or not a degree, especially in a time when there are a lot more people just balking on college, right?
Right.
I mean, like
absolutely.
a lot more people. I mean, this is bad news for colleges, obviously.
It is bad news for colleges. And here's the thing. This is what I want to point to in this is that they're not just saying, "Oh, we'll hire these people." They're saying we're going to put them on a career path and we're going to train them. Yeah. And I think that that's the important part that we can take away as automotive is it's not just time invested, it's real resources and dollars injected into your company. $1 billion from Walmart. Obviously, they're a massive organization, so spread across their retail units. But for an auto dealer to look at this and go, okay, there are other retail establishments saying, yes, we believe the same thing, that people come from any walk of life and come into this. But in order to keep them, retain them, see our company grow, it takes real time and money investment to make them great.
I mean, not $1 billion, but do you have 50,000?
Come on.
Right? 50,000. Yes. The answer is yes, you do.
All day.
You do have it. Hey, whatever it is, we know paying attention to the people more than the product is how we all get ahead. Thanks for being with us here today. Go to morethancars.tv. Join us on the live stream on Wednesday.